because there are certain parties that want to argue morals and ethics, but in other instances, they don't see the need to argue morals and ethics to challenge certain decisions. Let's also be consistent. I said yesterday, and this is a similar comment I made on my television show last night. Instead of being angry at Dr. John Hlophe, be angry at the law. Be angry at the Constitution. Advocate for the rules to change. Yes, I'm happy that the matter is going to go to courts, because I always love constitutional clarity, because I'm like, it helps us. And now the courts will have to determine whether this final decision by Parliament was reasonable and rational. The tricky part here is, let me try to explain it this way, for those maybe that have missed the details of this matter. The tricky part here is that Dr. Hlophe is deemed to be fit and proper to serve in the National Assembly, right? So consequently, he should be fit and proper to represent the National Assembly on other forums. No? So why is he in Parliament if he can't represent the same institution that he is part of? And the argument the DA makes is that he has lost his status as a judge of the High Court in South Africa, and then as a consequence of a finding of gross misconduct by the Judicial Services Commission. But he's not going to sit on the JSC as a member of the legal profession. And the sooner you and I realize and forget Judge John Hlophe as a judge and think of him as a man that he's reinvented himself to be, the better it's going to be for us and to understand these political dynamics. Stop thinking of him as a judge. He's not in Parliament as a judge. He's not in Parliament as a former judge. He's there as a purely a politician. As someone who represents their party, MK Party, that has deployed him to Parliament, that MK Party whose constituency voted for it to have presence in Parliament and subsequently represent Parliament and the public in other institutions. Nothing in the law or the Constitution expressly bars Hlophe from representing Parliament on the JSC. The same way that nothing stopped impeached Public Protector, Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane, from being part of the Justice Committee, whose responsibility, by the way, is to provide oversight over the very office she was impeached from. It's the same Justice Committee that even facilitated the process that led to her removal. But she serves there because that's a political process. So even with Dr. John Hlophe, it's our political system that allows for him to be nominated by his party to serve on the JSC, even though it's an independent organization that sits outside of Parliament. If anything, be angry at our political system for allowing this. Be angry at the rules of the National Assembly and the Constitution, and go and advocate for the rules to change. One of the things I don't understand, and I'll raise this maybe in the second half hour, is also we pretend as if Dr. John Hlophe is going to be the only person in the JSC. His voice, only his voice is going to matter in the JSC, because if anything, everybody else must depend on him. There are 20 or so other commissioners. The chairperson of the JSC can intervene if Dr. John Hlophe asks questions that they think are not in line with the spirit and values of the JSC. That's what happens with Abu Julius Malema, some of the ANC politicians who sits on the JSC. But there's an impression by the DA that has been created here that, oh my God, the JSC is going to be in paralysis. As if Dr. John Hlophe is just the only man who's going to be making decisions on behalf of the JSC, when he's just one of many, many other commissioners that are part of that process.